This is the United States MRE. No sense. It should be MRTE because meal ready eat is not a phrase that makes any sense. And much like everything else in the United States military, MRE doesn't make sense. So today we're just going to look at what is in the MRE and why you don't want to eat them. So today I have two types of MREs for you to consider. I have Ratatouille and chili with beans. Both of these are disturbing globs of processed scum that you will be forced to endure if you are in the United States military. What is in an MRE, you might ask? Well, an MRE can contain pretty much everything from pig's feet to snake butt. But in these two MREs, we are going to see what exactly we've got, containing other bags full of stuff. So, first of all is your main meal, which is Ratatouille, though I can guarantee it tastes more like rat. There is nothing in that you would want to eat. Next comes your Condiment Kit. Now, your Condiment Kit contains 2 pieces of gum, sugar, instant coffee, toilet paper, sanitary wipes, matches, creamer, and that's about it. This is what is supposed to flavor everything else in this MRE. After the Ratatouille, we have almond poppy cake seed bread, which I've never heard of before. I can guarantee you will never hear of again. You have peanut butter. You have tortillas. You have chocolate dairy. So you have your sides. Now, what do we have for sides? What is even considered a side in the world of the military? Now, a side, I guess, is anything that's not a main meal. So here we're going to define a side as anything that's in a poop brown bag. Again, not the green bag. Like this, the poop brown bag. Because this is the color your poop will be if you eat this part of the meal. This is the color poop you will have if you eat the main meal. This is how you distinguish between the main and the sides. So, we have our tortillas. Now, they give you nothing to put on these tortillas. They just give you tortillas. Now, I don't know what's supposed to go on the tortillas. I just know I have tortillas. Now, they also give me peanut butter. I don't know why, because this peanut butter isn't actually peanut butter. It is brown mortar that was once used to put cinder blocks together. However, they have now squirted into a small brown package and told me to consume. And it even says on the back, consume. I don't wish to consume it, but I must because I just must. So I am actually going to put that on the tortillas at a later point because I don't feel like I can contain the vomit-worthy reaction I will have at this point, which leaves me with 2 things left. I have my chocolate dairy shake and I have my almond poppy seed brown cake thing. Now, the almond poppy seed brown cake thing is devoid of any nutritional value whatsoever. It is pretty much the equivalent of eating a combination of cardboard and packing peanuts. However, it is filled with a large amount of sugar, the kind of sugar that McDonald's puts in its McFlurries that makes Americans look like balloons on steroids. Therefore, I will consume this because I too wish to be an American and I wish to be a balloon on steroids. I will therefore consume this and I will, if possible, trade my sides to my fellow service members for more balloon-worthy sides that will make me look like a balloon on steroids. However, that will come at a later point. Finally, I have my chocolate dairy shake. Now, this may seem like a good thing. It is a dairy shake after all. It has the word chocolate in it. 2 things which I normally love. But one thing you come to realize is the chocolate dairy shake, the vanilla dairy shake, the cappuccino dairy shake, these are dangerous things that were actually intended to poison the enemy. They are a mixture of God only knows what horrible ingredients that were intended to incapacitate people and put them on the john or the toilet or the dumping trench for long periods of time, which gives you the chance to sneak up. The original intent behind the United States military putting dairy shake beverages in the MRE was to actually give them as a gift to the enemy and then allow them to eat, which would allow us to sneak our way into enemy camps because all of your enemies would be on the toilet or in some form crapping themselves for hours and hours on end. And they would be unable to defend themselves, allowing us for any form of recon or infiltration that we desired at that particular time. And finally, you have your heater. Now, this heater is really the only benefit to this heater is warming your hands and feet on a cold night. It will get your food just warm enough to taste bad, but not warm enough that you can't taste how bad it is. It will pretty much leave your food a lukewarm level of disgusting that makes you basically want to run to the enemy and say, please, put me down, because they're forcing me to eat this revolting slop. You have all of your food laid out, you are guaranteed that your staff sergeant will walk up to you within at least 2 minutes of that and say, Lance Corporal, what are you doing? You go, Staff Sergeant, I'm trying to eat. He says, like crap you are. Frickin' go frickin' do something. And often, usually, this is just simply to get you away from your food. And honestly, sometimes I believe that these NCOs are actually trying to help us by getting us away from this revolting slop contained in these small brown bags. But if you do have the misfortune of having time to actually eat your food, you are going to tear off the top of your green container, and you are going to then think about your life, because clearly whatever circumstance brought you to heating up your food in a small green bag was just the wrong decision, whether it was the recruiter guaranteeing that you would go to jump school and become a total operator, or whether it was the fact that your parents kicked you out of the house and you decided it would be better to join the military than be homeless. You made the wrong decision. So after you've opened your bag, you're going to look over your various and confusing amount of brown disgustingness, because as you notice, it's all brown. That is just to simply reinforce the disgusting poop flavor. Whatever part of your meal you want a little bit warmer than cold, but a little bit colder than hot, and you're going to decide, do I want a lukewarm chocolate dairy shake? Do I want some oddly toasty tortillas? Do I want a disgusting almond poppy seed cake to be a little bit warmer than cold? Or do I want to heat up my Ratatouille? Now, I would suggest heating up your Ratatouille because it will merely make any of these more disgusting than they already are, and it will make this one slightly less disgusting than it already is. You're going to look at this box, and you are going to open the top of this box. Now, this is getting a little bit complicated here. You're going to open the box, and you're going to pull out the slightly less brown bag. As you can see, this is more of a puke green color. Now, this is the exciting part, because as you can see, this is how we are supposed to distinguish between the main meal and the not main meal, as the main meal will be in a puke green bag and the not main meal will be in a poop brown bag. This is, as I said, how the military decided to color our food system. I believe originally the idea was so you could hide your food from the enemy, but I believe the enemy would actually give the food back if they ever found it in the field. They would say, oh, you poor Americans suffered enough at the hands of your own government being forced to consume these rations that we will actually give you our food, and we will stop this horrible war with you, because now we see that you too are sorry and sad person. But that has not happened yet, though I am sure it will happen in the future. So now, you're going to take your main meal. Again, it is the puke green one, not the poop brown one. And you're going to carefully separate the top of your brown bag. You are going to slip said main meal into the brown bag like such. You're going to wiggle it around. And again, this whole time, thinking about your life decisions up to this point. You're going to slide it in, and you're going to say, okay, I have it in the bag now. You're going to take your canteen. This is vital. It must be a canteen. It cannot be a Camelback. It cannot be a water bottle. It must be a canteen. If it's not a canteen, you might as well just go to the enemy right now. You're going to unscrew the top like such. Again, unscrewing the top like such. And again, you will notice that this canteen is a part of the main meal, because the main meal is all green and the other stuff is all brown. Green canteen, green bag. Okay, so you're going to take the canteen, and you are going to carefully, oh so carefully, it's not careful, pour water into your bag. You are going to fill it over the do not overfill this line, because it's just more fun that way. You are then going to, and this is the important part, find a rock or something. Now, this must be a rock or something. If it's not a something, it must be a rock, and if it's not a rock, it must be a something, because as this very explicitly says on the container, rock or something. It must be propped up against a rock or something. If you do not prop it up against a something or a rock, you will die. 14 Marines died last year from not propping it against a something. They thought it was a rock. It was indeed a log, and a log does not clarify as a something, and they died. So again, I must stress the essence and the importance of propping it against a something or a rock, or you will die. I have found a rock. It is not a something, but as you can see, it is a rock, and I have propped it against my rock. And I can now clarify that I am safe. We are going to sit there, and we are going to look at it, and we are going to think, why is it green? Why isn't it brown? Why am I here? Why does life suck so much? You're going to realize that no, none of these things are true. The enemy is eating better food than you. You are stuck in this godforsaken sand hole, and you are eating the stuff in this green bag, because if you don't eat the stuff in this green bag, you're not going to eat. And then you must realize, well, I better make the best of it, even though the best is not very good. So you're going to sit there and you're going to wait until your food is properly less than hot, but not quite cold. And you're going to then pull it out of the package and say, oh good, my food is less than hot but not quite cold. And then you're going to go, okay, so now I must eat the contents of this slop. At which point, you will take it and you will separate the top from the bottom, and you will tear. You will tear along the lines here, and you will set it on the ground. Now, you can set this against the rock or the something. Again, the rock or the something. You will then look inside and realize it looks like a dog vomited in your food, but then you just realize to yourself, that is the food. There is no dog vomit. It's just the food, and it looks and tastes like dog vomit. I actually tried to offer to my dog once. He vomited and then ate his vomit before he ate this MRE. So I can again stress the discomfort and just pure unhappiness you will feel after 2 weeks of eating nothing but dog vomit. You're going to look over your contents. You're going to say, oh please God, give me something to make this taste less terrible. You are going to pull out your seasoning salt. You're going to put that in there. You're going to sprinkle it in and go, okay, now I've got my seasoning salt. You're going to then open your contents of your condiment bag, and you're going to go, matches. Will matches make it taste better? No. They will simply light it on fire, which is a better fate for this food and for yourself. But again, you have to eat or you die. So we have to discard matches. Instant coffee. Will instant coffee make it better? No. Instant coffee will not make it better. Instant coffee will make you better, but it will not make the food better. So we set that aside. The Moist Towelette. Now, the Moist Towelette is good because it has alcohol in it. So after you eat the food, you rub your tongue down with the Moist Towelette, and it will relieve you for a short period of time from the flavor of this god-awful food. So we're going to save that for after the meal. Your sugar. You're going to want to put your sugar in there. You put your sugar in because that's important. It's sweet. It doesn't taste like dog vomit. So we're just going to put that in there. We're just going to pot all of it in there. It's very important. Next comes your creamer. Do you want creamer in your food? Well, maybe. It might make it taste less like vomit, but then it might make it taste more like vomit. I'm not actually sure. So I'm going to set that aside to save for later. Salt. Now, salt is important. Salt is life-giving. So I'm going to unzip the salt, and I'm going to pour all of the salt in there. Again, the salt and the sugar are a disgusting mix that will take the flavor away from the food, and it will get your mind focused on something than the dog vomit you are eating. You are going to realize there are only two things left in this bag. There is toilet paper right here, and there is gum. Now, the gum is a must, an absolute, I must repeat this, this is a must chew, because after you eat this food, this will give you something that resembles a decent flavor. It will give you a mint or cinnamon flavor, which is vital, because you might just run into enemy fire if you are left tasting this food for more than approximately 18 minutes. At about the 19-minute mark, you will jump out of your foxhole and say, please, take me, because I no longer wish to live. So I must stress, save your gum till after the meal. Your toilet paper you will need. You will need this toilet paper, because this food, when it exits your body, will be more disgusting than it ever was going into your body. And it will resemble, it will actually look the same, but it will burn like the fires of Hades, like the seventh circle of Dante's Inferno. It will burn. It will also be somehow liquid and solid at the same time. So I must stress, save your toilet paper for the love of God, and if you love everyone else in your platoon, you will save this toilet paper, because God knows you are going to need it. So at this point, your main meal is ready to consume. Now, I use the word consume in the most light and unrealistic terms that could possibly be applied to the word, but I must use that word. So at this point, you're going to break out your spoon. This is the spoon. The spoon, okay? It's the spoon. And you're going to dig into your food, and oh my God, this is just, oh God. Okay. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Oh God, away with me. Oh God. Oh, why does that exist? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I couldn't take it, okay? I couldn't take it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm done. I'm just done. I can't do this anymore. Oh.